All right, let's do this again. I'm so pissed. I did this, I recorded this already, and then I noticed that my microphone wasn't on. So I got to record it again. Okay. The Beekeeper is a 2024 action thriller directed by David Ayer and written by Kurt Wimmer. It's a movie about a character played by Jason Statham, which means the character's name is completely irrelevant and the plot is going to be wafer thin.
That's okay. I understand these things.
Even if you haven't seen this movie, you probably already know 90% of what happens. It's a Statham vehicle.
To be or not to be? I think I'll take to be.
Spoilers, this movie sucks, and I'm going to spoil the whole thing. Jason Statham is a beekeeper, like an actual beekeeper, in that he keeps bees and makes honey and wears a, I don't even know what this is. It's like a Dharma Initiative version of a beekeeper suit. It's a bee suit for beekeepers who also enjoy fencing. Ridiculous. Oh, Jesus Christ. But Statham isn't just a beekeeper, he's also a beekeeper. A super secret government operative who works outside of the law to protect the hive, or the queen bee, or maybe neither. God knows. It makes no sense. There's a bee theme. That's really all you need to know. Anyway, Statham is renting a barn from mother figure and Cosby Show survivor Felicia Rashad. She's been taking care of Statham in some ambiguous capacity for an indeterminate amount of time.
No one's ever taken care of me before.
Yeah, blah, 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 blah. It's all very vague, but it's mentioned more than once, so it must be important. Mrs. Huxtable invites Jason Statham over for dinner so she can put the moves on him or something. Unfortunately, while she's waiting, she pulls a boomer move and clicks a malicious link on her computer. An unscrupulous call center manager operating out of a nightclub pounces and steals all of her money, including $2 million sitting in a charity account for sick kids or something like that. I wasn't really paying attention. Next thing we know, Statham shows up for dinner to find a deceased Mrs. Huxtable. Foul play? Nope, she did it to herself. No need to call the bank or the police or, and I know this one is a stretch, her FBI agent daughter. She's just going to end it all and be done with the whole situation. I suppose it was the right thing to do, because otherwise Statham wouldn't have had a reason to go on a rampage of mediocre proportions. It's all in the name of protecting old people from being taken advantage of, I think.
Repeat after me. I will never steal from the weak and the vulnerable again.
And that's it for the plot. I mean, the rest of the movie is just Statham throwing honey at time travelers from the 80s and stapling slime balls from the 90s. He fights this guy, kills the president's son, and swims off into the sunset. Oh, right. And there's also a B-plot about Mrs. Huxtable's FBI agent daughter and her snorefest of a partner. I mean, it's so boring and pointless. You could quite literally remove this entire part of the movie without having any impact on the story. I mean, what are we even doing here? Everyone involved in this movie should be ashamed of themselves. What kind of reviews is this garbage pulling in? If we aren't dipping into negative numbers, I am going to be shocked. What? Before we pop off on all the things that make this a terrible movie, let's take a moment to appreciate a few of the things this movie does right. Jason Statham. Let's not pretend he isn't the entire reason this movie exists. Someone just wanted another Statham movie, and there's nothing wrong with that. He's made a career out of being himself. It's uncanny. I have no idea how he does it. He's not a great actor, but he's also far from bad. He's like, perfectly acceptable. And that's how he is in every single movie. Granted, I haven't seen everything he's been in. Maybe he has handed in some dog shit performances here and there. But in everything I've seen, he's distinctly and unwaveringly Jason Statham.
The other option, instead of going in, is to smoke him out.
Felicia Rashad and Taylor James. I haven't seen Felicia in anything since her Cosby Show days. She doesn't have a huge role in this movie, but when she is on screen, she does a pretty okay job with the trash script she's working with. It's mostly just nostalgia for me, though, if I'm being completely honest. And Taylor James? Never heard of this guy before, but holy shit does he chew scenery like a rabid cow.
This is the fucking Beekeeper!
If everyone in this movie hammed it up like he does, we'd have something truly memorable. The South African accent? awesome. The bee motif he's rocking, yeah, it's pretty fun. Naming him Lazarus? Okay, that's stupid as fuck. Kind of ruins it. But I don't think they ever say his name in the movie, so it's not that big a deal. Oh, and Minnie Driver is, she's okay-ish, I guess, for the 5 seconds that she's on screen. I don't know, is it just me? It feels like she did this as a favor. But yeah, that's about it. Let's get to the good stuff. There is 0 character development in this half-baked turd. Like, literally none. None of the characters grow or evolve. Hell, there's barely even a plot. And what little plot we have is convoluted, brain-dead bee porn. It's all just preamble for Jason Statham action scenes, which aren't even very good. They aren't. Sorry. When I was a kid, I would put up with the comically absurd acting of Jean-Claude Van Damme and Steven Seagal because, at least with them, I got to see some pretty awesome shit. This movie isn't even trying. John Wick movies have gotten progressively stale and labored with each installment, but at least they understand that action scenes need to be half decent for these kinds of movies. Now, can we talk about the inciting incident again? It's the moment in movies when the story gets propelled into motion. In The Beekeeper, it's when Mrs. Huxtable gets scammed and offs herself. Listen, I'm really not asking for much here. I don't need award-winning stories or performances. I'm just looking for something resembling coherence. The backstory between Eloise and Jason Statham is one sentence. Like, we're supposed to care about the relationship between these two. They're clearly hinting that there's more to this relationship than Statham renting out the barn for his honey production, which, quick side note, this doesn't make any fucking sense. Why is he making honey? Is he selling this shit at the local farmer's market or just stockpiling it for some inevitable honey shortage? Can you please, just give us something? And I'm sorry, I've got to talk about this again. Why wouldn't Eloise call her bank or the police? Or, like I said, her fucking FBI agent daughter, who apparently is able to find the call center scumbags while hungover on her day off. Eloise is just like, fuck it, I'm out. And how does Verona find Statham in her mom's house before she finds her dead mother? And the positioning of the gun with the shell casing sitting right there beside it? I mean, what are we doing here, guys? What are we fucking doing? And how about the bee theme? Can we just get this one out of the way?
Well, so be it.
Dude, bees are interesting little shits. Did you know that?
I know they pollinate a bunch of shit and we'd be fucked without them.
Listen.
Not unlike bees themselves, beekeepers keep working until they die.
They reference bees so much in this movie, an abnormal amount. For a moment, I thought this movie had been written by an actual bee, just sitting there, blitzed off its secret honey stash, furiously typing away at a tiny bee typewriter and laughing maniacally at every bee reference it can throw in. It's so bad. It's so bad. I could go on for hours, but I really want to wrap this section up. The acting is atrocious. I can only assume they spent a shit ton of money on Statham and the Hunger Games dude.
But what does that even mean?
That they just had to let the extras pick up the slack.
No.
Nope.
No.
No.
It's your turn.
No.
You can't.
And Verona? One of the most unlikable characters in recent memory.
Hey.
Yeah, I know. I'm an asshole.
Just smugness personified.
Can I just have this moment?
I don't condone violence, and especially violence against women, but goddamn, I just want to slap the shit out of her partner Wiley. How are you going to name a character Wiley and make him this dull and useless? I've got so many questions about this movie. Like, the call centers. Can we talk about the call centers? Do the people who made this movie really think that this is what a call center looks like? Because I think we all know this isn't what a call center looks like. Oh my god. Oh. And how about the mom genes? Who thought this was a good idea? Yeah, let's put our lead actress in the most horrific style of pants we can imagine. Who did this to you, Verona? It was probably the same person responsible for this. Or for thinking that Jason Statham wearing a baseball cap was a good idea. I don't think he's ever worn a baseball cap in his entire life. This is awful. There's like an inch of clearance above his head. He's wearing this thing like it's a fucking top hat. And you would think that maybe, just maybe, with the overabundance of bee references...
Fucking beekeeper. Makes honey and fucks with beehives.
He said he's a beekeeper.
Your beekeeper?
Yeah.
He's a ghost.
I told you I'd take care of bees.
that there might be a death scene involving, what are those things called? Oh yeah, fucking bees. How are they going to fixate on bees this much?
A beekeeper?
Like the beekeepers.
You've been a busy bee.
But Mr. Clay does keep honeybees.
And not make that some sort of finishing move or Saw-inspired execution? How did we not get Statham filling a room with wasps to take out a group of bad guys? Or some sort of bee cannon or beehive catapult? I hate to say that. After the third viewing, I'm kind of beginning to enjoy it.
Sometimes I use fire to smoke out hornets.
He fucks with beehives. What's he saying about bees?
If a beekeeper says you're gonna die, you're gonna die.
Connected to a classified program named Beekeeper.
I don't know how else to say this. I'm a beekeeper.
The current active beekeeper is aware of the issue and is going to be taking things from here.
The current active beekeeper is a fucking lunatic.
The beekeepers have studied the situation and have decided to remain neutral.
A retired beekeeper has gone off program.
Some bees are queen slayers, which will rise up and kill their queen if she fails to produce the right kind of male offspring.
To keep the hive safe. Acting in what he mistakenly believes is the hive's best interest.
Protecting the hive, sir, it's what beekeepers do.
That's the one thing beekeepers don't do.
So fucking what? Why do I care if the guy keeps bees?
Sometimes when the hive is out of balance, you have to replace the queen.
In a beehive, there is something called a queen slayer.
You kick the beehive and now we have to reap the whirlwind.
It's a bee that will rise up and kill the queen if she produces defective offspring.
To kill his way to the top of the hive.
Kick some fucking beekeeper's ass.
I don't know. He said he was like protecting the hive or something.